Mr. Chopra, sir, how are you? Sir, I've got to ask you this.
Now, if that doesn't say I know the true meaning of life, if that doesn't say I know the true meaning of life, and it's not material goods, it's spirituality, and we're only possessing this body for a short time. We're actually a soul, and we're not. That'll tell you right there. That'll tell. There's been a lot of people in the spiritual community that have been caught up, including the Dalai Lama, have been caught in the Epstein files, and also with Deepak Chopra. But so here is Savior tweets out, newly released emails reveal the Dalai Lama, the Tibetan Buddhist spiritual teacher, met repeatedly with Jeffrey Epstein, and his name is mentioned at least 169 times in the files. So this is a video. I don't want to show it, but it's a video of him putting his tongue out and having the kid kiss it, and him kissing the kid. It was weird. They tried to
he actually tells the child, "Suck on my tongue."
Suck on my tongue. So people have tried to explain that away as being cultural, and so I don't know enough about the culture, so I don't want to get into it too much with that. Have you heard the same excuses that when he did that it was cultural?
I have, that he is so enlightened that he's childlike, and that was just one child to another playing around. But I have spent time with the Dalai Lama personally. I spent 10 days with him, day and night, filming a project in 2008. And at this time, I was exploring all the different world religions, and Tibetan Buddhism was one of my favorites. So there's a lot of principles that I still follow today. Mindfulness is a really great practice. Meditation is a great practice. But I will tell you what really turned me off here is we were going in to look for a location to do an interview with the Dalai Lama. So they had us in his suite.
Uh-oh.
And so I noticed the toilet bowl was filled with bright orange yellow urine, and I went to flush it as we were doing this walkthrough, and one of his aides said, no. I said, oh, I'm sorry. And he said, his disciples will come and drink that.
You got to be kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. And I said, I'm sorry. Wait. I'm sorry. They're going to drink out of the toilet? Oh, yeah. They said, why? They said, well, they feel that it will give them enlightenment. It will give them, some of the properties that have made His Holiness so amazing. So they come in here as soon as we allow them to, and they'll drink out of the toilet.
And so did you just kind of like brush it off and keep going, or did it kind of shake you?
It kind of put a damper on the trip, I'll just say, because it went from, oh, he's just this beautiful, loving thing, to like, this is okay. I understand. Look, I worked with a lot of indigenous cultures, a lot of cultures around the world, and everyone has different traditions. And so they have their own justification for that. And maybe it's not as dark as it sounds to us Westerners, possibly. But when he then started to come out and get involved in things like COVID, he pushed hard for the COVID vaccines.
The Dalai Lama did?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
So the people have said he's compromised by the CIA, and we know CIA was a big driving force behind COVID because it came from DARPA, it came from the military-industrial complex is where it came from. And so go ahead. I'm sorry.
So it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder. I don't like to pass judgment too quickly on people, but that's when I see that, when you see somebody towing the line, it was the gradual awakening I had towards Bernie Sanders, which I know you had this same awakening with, of just seeing like, okay, it says a lot of things we really like, but boy, he keeps pushing policies and people and things that are just so contrast to everything it sounds like he stands for. What is going on here? And again, he was one that pushed hard on the COVID vaccines too. So I look at these spiritual leaders, and I know this world really well. As I said, I lived in it, and I was all in. I mean, I was woo-woo as it can get. And I had people warn me when I was in it. I remember having a really wise guy say to me one time, be very, very, very careful of this community that you're inhabiting right now. And I said, why? He said, because the New Age movement is the ego's favorite place to hide. And it took me years to kind of unpack that and to kind of watch that unfold, to realize, that is what we're struggling with a lot, is this false persona that we call the ego. And the New Age movement provided, there's a lot of value in it, so I don't want to trash it all, but the New Age movement provided a cover for those who really don't want to do the work. All they want to do is change their dialect. They want to be able to put on some loose-fitting white clothing and make eye contact way too long and say the right things, and suddenly instead of trying to get laid and hooking up, they're talking about sacred sexuality and tantra, and so it's like they're doing the same things, they're womanizing, but it's okay because it's at Burning Man or it's at a temple, or but it's the same game but kind of softened. It's also where men also learn to be less masculine, because the whole thing is about none of that, no force, no strength, just everything is Tai Chi through it all, Aikido through it all. And so I tried that for a long time, and it wasn't until I had children, and then we were trying to teach our children that, and I realized these kids are developing a mentality, and they're running us. Our children were 4 and 6, and they were running us because they saw dad as soft, and because we were trying to do this conscious parenting thing where I remember one time I was at the park in Ojai, and I was watching this little boy pummel his mother in the face, sitting on her lap, pummel her. And she's going, okay, I see that you're angry, and something must have really, ow, okay, that's hard. It really upset you, and you're angry, and it's like just the whole thing, just talk through it all. And it wasn't until one day I just went, I'm going to scrap all this bullshit, and I'm going to follow my instincts, and I'm going to be a man. The result of it was this, is my kids discovered that their dad is not to be messed with. And as a result, they felt safe in a dangerous world. And so they didn't try to pull the same BS on us. They stopped all of that because they also had a sense of respect for the pecking order in our home, which I started to really lay into it heavily. Like, you never disrespect your mother. Let's go back to some old-fashioned, like all of our history, all of our old ways, which have just been deemed as kind of barbaric and archaic and wrong, because that's what's led to capitalism and the destruction of everything. I don't know. I think we kind of have thrown the baby out with the bathwater with a lot of those practices. So I just went, I'm just going to go. And thank God my wife was willing to let me go there. And there were a few times when she said, I don't know if you need to yell like that. No, I'm going to yell because it's what I feel inside. And it turned out to be the right thing to do, because like I said, in the end, my kids are balanced. They're good kids. And they have respect for their elders. They have good old-fashioned respect. They open doors for women and for elderly people, but we need to come back to some of that. But that New Age world was where I was starting to. It also is where I first started to recognize that they're changing the language. Suddenly now, the language that we've spoken forever. I remember one time that because it was a live-work environment we lived in, and I said, okay, guys, we really have to get some work done today. We're on a deadline. And one of the members of our community goes, can we call it a lifeline? Why would you use the word dead? I was like, what is going on here? Like, everything, we're so sensitive that now all these words and terminologies that we've used forever are now being frowned upon, and you want us to bend everything to make you comfortable so you're not. And I realized later, I'm like, oh, this is the feelings over facts crowd. This is where it's starting. Like, we're shaping everything in our physical world to make us feel better, instead of dealing with the realities of the world and doing something about them. And so that's why I say that it was an incubator for the woke movement, because it really did a lot of damage to a lot of men who are now stepping out of it. I'm talking with a lot of my friends that can look back and go, wow, not only was I a big phony, but it really did some damage to my strength, who I am as a person, and my personal strength. And it also got me into this constant processing, which is a big thing in the New Age world, where, and the mind loves it, right? Because the mind loves riddles and loves to work things out. But there was this constant processing. Like, the moment I realized something I do or a bad habit of mine, I need to now take 3 days off to process and meditate. And it just became this thing where it was impossible to get any work done in our community. And then another aspect of it that was weird was, because I was the founder of the company, there was this thing starting to happen to me, which was people started to treat me as if I was the leader of this group. And it was weird because I thought, well, I can, and for a moment it kind of affected me. I kind of felt powerful because people would always, everything I said was right, and it was kind of strange. And I thought, wow, this is how the members of a cult create the cult leader, is they give them the power, they give them their power, and that's false power when we take it from others. And so recognizing that is when I said, I want out of all of this. I just want to live a simple life. I want to put my hands in the soil. I want to raise my kids. I want to be good to my wife. And I don't think it's that hard, really. But this self-help thing makes everything a lot of work. I got to read a lot of books. But I realized since then, it's kind of like, no, I don't. I just kind of have to remember the stuff I forgot. That's really the work now, is just remembering all this good stuff that it's been drilled out of our psyche.
So here is the email from the Dalai Lama. So back here, it's so this is from Epstein, and it's blacked out who it's to. At the bottom it says, "Wow, OMG, it's that fast. I thought because Ukraine girls, not redacted, not gonna see you for months. Sneaky dog, redacted. So sorry. I wish I could come today, but I could see you tomorrow after school. Please, redacted. Going now to the event with Dalai Lama then. B-Day dinner with Anastasia, and it is her birthday." So this is him saying he's going to hang out with the Dalai Lama after he's talking about young Ukrainian girls. And then up here, "You didn't ask if I need help. I told you yesterday. I was home. I'm very, very angry. Talk to you later in the week. Sorry for that. Didn't check my email since yesterday morning. You know that I don't have an internet in my phone. Why didn't you call me or text me on my phone if you need me? About the event, I told you almost a month ago on Island that Dalai Lama is coming, and I want to go there to see him, but I can skip this event if you need my help today. So I didn't call. Go to the event. This is BS." So how do we know this is the Dalai Lama?
I don't know about that particular.
Okay.
That particular email. I released one. Have you seen the one that the first one that I released has an exchange between them that starts off with Deepak asking, "Cells are human," or Jeffrey asking, "Does a cell have form? Is a cell aware? Does it have emotion? Does it perform actions? Do you find me?"
So you tweeted this out. Jeffrey
Epstein. Did you find me a cute Israeli girl?
So Jeffrey Epstein says to Deepak, "Does a cell have form? Is a cell aware? Does it have emotion? Does it perform actions? Did you find me a cute Israeli?" Deepak responds, "Cells are human constructs. No such thing. Universe is human construct. No such thing. Cute girls are aware when they make noises. God is a construct. Cute girls are real." Oh, are you kidding me?
No.
That
is a real email between the two.
And here's a little more. Jeffrey Epstein says, "So when the girl says, 'Oh my God,' Deepak Chopra says, 'Yes, that's divine transcendence.'" That sounds creepy beyond belief.
Keep going.
Epstein says, "Oh, I thought she was just referring to me." Chopra says, "That's because you are God and drag." Chopra then says, "Come to Israel with us, relax, and have fun with interesting people. If you want to use a fake name, bring your girls. It will be fun to have you. Love, Deepak." Holy F.
Yeah.
Then it keeps going. Another one, Jeffrey Epstein says, "Next time I'm in Santa Fe, Monday." Deepak says, "Okay, your girls would love it, as would you. Be well, sending love." Epstein responds, "Another location? I do not like Israel at all. Shocking and not."
And this is all after Jeffrey is a known pedophile.
This is he's already been known as a PDF file. So here's some more stuff. This is from Deepak Chopra. "I don't know. The tiger is bringing me to places I had absconded. It looks like the MGH, Harvard Chopra Mind Brain Institute, will actually happening, which means riding the tiger even more. I've wanted validation from scientists. Some is happening and some will remain ever skeptical and condescending. Suddenly, it does not feel important. What do I enjoy most? I don't know what I can say, really. My biological needs are met occasionally, but that too, it seems I've been there, done that. I have 3 more books to write, and then we'll be done with that as well. I will be going for 1 week silence at the end of this month with a small group, maybe some more clarity. Then I do enjoy the company of younger, intellectually sharp, and self-aware women, and love to engage with them to inspire and stimulate them. Oh my, this is kind of crazy. I've read a lot of Deepak Chopra's books.
Yeah.
And a lot of his books is him just much like Wayne Dyer, he's quoting spiritual leaders from the past and spiritual texts from the past. So a lot of the stuff he's written actually makes sense and has a spiritual foundation to it, but he doesn't live by the stuff he writes, is what it sounds like, and that he's a complete fake. Okay. And here he is trying to address this. He got community noted. He says, I am deeply saddened by the suffering of the victims in this case, and I unequivocally condemn abuse and exploitation in all forms. Okay. I want to be clear. I was never involved, nor did I participate in any criminal or exploitive conduct. Any conduct I had was limited. And so then right underneath it says, Mr. Chopra fails to mention that his emails are dated after Mr. Epstein had been tried and found guilty of inappropriate SCX conduct with minors. Whoa.
So I worked with Mr. Chopra twice, many years ago. I know you're a fan of the work of Carl Jung, and
yes.
We were actually doing a movie on Carl Jung's work.
You're kidding. I didn't know this.
It was called, 17 years ago or so. It was called The Shadow Effect.
Right.
And,
okay.
And it was all about the human shadow, and I was just learning about his work. And so we had, at that time, I thought Deepak Chopra was a wonderfully intelligent human being. I think his books, 7 Spiritual Laws of Success or something like that.
Yeah, I read that. I read that book. Yeah. It's very helpful, in fact.
Very helpful, of course. And we also know that they don't always write their own books. So
right.
And so I ended up at the Chopra Center down in San Diego, and it was a very weird experience. And which his staff was terrified of him. So it was really weird to me because I thought I was expecting kind of a whole other kind of a loving vibe, but everything was like them coming in the room and going, okay, he's running a little bit late, and tell me again, what are you going to ask him? And I would start to, get a sentence out. They go, oh no, God, please don't. Oh God, don't ask him. Don't ask him that way. Here's how we suggest you ask that question. I said, oh, okay, I don't see the difference, but okay, there's a lot of fear, and it was kind of coming back. And okay, he's getting ready now. He's coming. It was like, is Michael Jackson coming? What?
Right?
What is this fanfare? This is weird. And then he comes in, and he does the limp-handed kind of looking away as he, hi. He doesn't look anyone in the eye. And I thought right away, I was like, oh no, never meet your heroes.
Right.
I should have listened. And he sits down. Okay, right away, like get this done, get this out of the way really quick. I got things to do. And not friendly at all. He did a great interview. As soon as the cameras and lights were on, he's very articulate, and he was a great interview. But then, as soon as he got to a certain point where we needed more, he's like, I'm done. You got what you got. You're lucky that you got me. It really was the attitude. Like, you're lucky you even got 20 minutes with me. So just count your blessings, because I'm Deepak Chopra. That's what it felt like. And he left the room, and we were all like, geez, okay. But again, like I said, the interview was fantastic. We got what we needed from him. And then through the years, I would hear from people that were, in the Los Angeles spiritual community. I would hear a lot of little rumors of how mean he is to his staff. And so when this stuff came out, I wasn't surprised, because when the ego gets that big. And the other thing we haven't talked about, Jimmy, too, is the Red Shoe Club, which I'm sure you're aware of.
I've heard mention of the Red Shoe Club. Yes, I have. Can I just show you this?
Sure.
So someone actually, I got suspicious of Deepak Chopra when I started seeing him wearing these glasses, and on the side, they're very thick and they have diamonds on the side.
Rhinestones.
And I was like, that's not right. I'm not a jewelry guy. I don't wear a necklace. I don't wear earrings. I don't wear rings or even a watch. I don't wear anything.
Mhm.
And so that's why it stood out to me. I'm like, what is that? I mean, I'm not against somebody dressing up. I like people who look nice, but that seemed a little like Elvis Presley-ish for
Liberace.
or Liberace or Elton John. Sounds like did Elton John know that you're stealing his glasses, Deepak? I mean, because that's what it. And so somebody confronted him over his appearances at a airport, and they very respectfully, they're asking for his comment on how he ended up in these Epstein files. And let's watch a little bit of it anyway.
Mr. Chopra, sir, how are you? Sir, I've got to ask you this.
Now, if that doesn't say I know the true meaning of life, if that doesn't say I know the true meaning of life, and it's not material goods, it's spirituality, and we're only possessing this body for a short time. We're actually a soul, and we're not. That'll tell you right there. So that to me is gross. Well,
in the Super Bowl of spirituality, we don't get football rings. We get rhinestone glasses. So.
Right. Now you could say the same thing about the popes and the way they have a gold toilet and all that stuff. And I have just as big a problem with that stuff as I do with this. But here we go.
Sir, you built your entire career. You built your entire career on spirituality. What do you have to say about your actions with Epstein? Any regrets? Do you have any regrets? I said, do you have any regrets about your relationship with Epstein? What's that? You want me to decide? No, I'm asking you, sir.
Well, you give me your opinion.
Look,
you have a right to your opinion.
Look, I'm asking you, sir.
Answering.
When did you know the scope of Epstein's actions, sir? And why did you keep the relationship going for so long? Is there anything you could say?
Every time I see those glasses, I get the Erica Kirk vibe coming over me. But here we go.
Mr. Chopra, anything at all? Sir, you had a relationship with him after 2008, after his conviction. Is there anything you can say about that at all, sir?
You do your own work and find out.
I am. I'm asking you. I'm coming right to you, sir.
I'm not answering.
Oh, well, I'm asking. You don't have to answer.
I'm not answering.
Sir, you said God is a construct. I know. I'm going to ask. You don't have to answer. That's fine. God is a construct, and cute girls are real, sir. It wasn't tone, sir. It was more than tone.
You're entitled to your opinion.
And I don't have an opinion. That's why I'm asking you.
Well,
I'm just asking the questions. This is an important topic. It's very important. And
I'm going to guess this is the last time Deepak Chopra doesn't have a car waiting for him at the curb. Where is he going? I don't take that long of a walk in the airport. You go out to the curb, you have the car, you get in the car. Where is he going? I don't understand where he's going. But
from what I understand, the Lolita Express is available.
Yeah.
you could answer it right here and put it to bed, yeah? Okay, sir, let me ask you this. You had a position of trust, a position of power, and people feel let down by that. Do you have any regrets at all?
He's still walking. Where's he? Still
Sir,
walking.
let me ask you this. Do you wish you distanced yourself from him earlier, sooner?
Finally, he's at the car.
Listen, the people want to know, sir. The people want to know. The people have a right to know. The victims have a right to know, don't they?
Let's talk about fun stuff like the Patriots.
The Patriots.
Who's going to win?
Oh my
God.
The Seahawks are going to win. Listen, Mr. Chopra, I'm just doing my job. You know that, right?
I congratulate you. You're not doing good work.
Well, I'm told I do good work, and I'm not being aggressive. I'm not being hostile, but
That's good.
this is important topic.
It'll all come to light.
It'll all come to light. Look, is there anything that you can tell me here and now to at least start to put this to bed?
No misconduct.
There's no misconduct.
No misconduct. That's his official.
Zero.
Misconduct.
Would you be?
So if there was really zero misconduct, why would you be so defensive? Why wouldn't you want to answer these questions? If there was zero misconduct, I'm sure there's an innocent explanation for all this. But of course, he's not giving it to you.
Well, he had to take all that time to walk
Yeah,
to come up with that idea.
It took a long time.
I just love how the lady who's with him obviously went to the Pam Bondi School of Deflection.
Yes.
How she went right to, what about that Super Bowl? Let's talk about the Dow. Let's not talk about this. So crazy.
How about them New England Patriots? You think they're going to be able to pick up the blitz?
Oh man, and that's one of the beautiful things that's happening right now, Jimmy, is the American people, the people around the world are becoming relentless. They're not buying into the same distractions. They're not. The look over there isn't working anymore. Like this awesome bold reporter who's like relentlessly, no, I'm gonna follow you as long as I can to let you know that we see you. So I hadn't seen that clip yet. I heard about it, but I'm glad you played it.
There's actually more to it, but it's just more of the same.
Okay.
So let's actually, if you want to hear my jokes about this, come see me in Lansing, Milwaukee, Albuquerque, Houston, Dallas, Salt Lake City, Las Vegas. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. And see me on tour. I'll be in Lansing, Milwaukee, Albuquerque, Houston, Dallas, Salt Lake City, Las Vegas. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. If you go anywhere, you're going to pay more.